Did you know that the fire from burning wood is actually sunlight? When plants photosynthesize using light from the sun, CO2, and water, they break off the carbon atom from the CO2 molecule and use that for the substance of the plant. The oxygen is just an exhaustive byproduct of the process. So in effect, trees grow out of the air more than the ground, which is fascinating to me. When we cut down a tree and burn the wood, what we're doing is we're heating and exciting the carbon atoms so they start jiggling around and going really fast and eventually break free, releasing the sunlight that was stored, and then the carbon molecule reattaches to oxygen in the air, which remakes CO2. As I was working to install our solar panels and batteries, I couldn't help but think about how the leaves are analogs to our solar panels and the wood is an analog to the batteries. In both cases, we're capturing sunlight for future use. In our case, all of our appliances and electrical things run off of refined sunlight, and I think that's a fascinating concept. I'm gonna walk through how we built our solar kit in this video, and all of this is just for entertainment purposes. If you're gonna do anything like this, do a lot of research and then, if necessary, hire an electrician to do the work for you. Also, I grounded our system with a grounding plate rather than grounding rods, but I didn't show it in the video because we were running long on time. Battleborn provided us our batteries and our Solarc all-in-one inverter, and then Rich Solar provided our panels for us. We're super grateful for those two companies providing this kit for us in exchange for this video content. Battleborn was one of the first adopters of lithium technology in the portable space, and they're pretty unique in that they build their batteries in Nevada, so they're assembled in the United States. And they're a super robust battery that's really well built and long lasting. The solar power world is quickly evolving, especially in the 48 volt space. So please do your own research before you build out a kit. Don't just copy exactly what we did and think it's gonna be good, because all of your needs will be unique to you, and what we built was for our purposes exclusively.
We have a long bolt to go through here that sticks up.
We're trying to build out our solar panel mount system, and we're using Unistrut, which isn't specifically made for this, but it's still expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than going with a solar panel specific mounting hardware. So it takes a little bit of MacGyvering to get it to work just right.
Spent about 5 years in Home Depot. I think we got everything we need.
It's so nice to be able to have these things in hand. I was trying to order it online, and I just couldn't figure out exactly what we needed. And then once I did figure it out and went to order it, they wouldn't deliver to where we live. So we had to drive 3 hours to come get the stuff, because around us, there was only one place that carried these, and they were $90 rather than $35 for each of these sticks. And then all the hardware was more too. So here we are. Our solar panel array adds up to 3 kilowatts of input, which I think will be plenty, but we could more than double that if we needed to by adding more panels to our roof over time. But I really don't think we'll need to. A lot of people asked in previous videos why we didn't build a standalone solar array for our panels, but in reality, it's actually cheaper for us to buy more solar panels to put on the roof than it would be to build a standalone solar stand. And we make up for the inefficiency of not having the perfect tilt and yaw to the sun by just adding more panels to the array if we ever need to. But again, I don't think we'll need to. Also, our roof is pitched to the south, and it's at a decent angle to collect solar, so I think it'll be pretty perfect for what we're using it for. Our new kit has 26 kilowatt hours of power. So this is 20 kilowatts more than the small portable kit that we had before. And just for safety's sake, the whole time that we were installing all of this stuff, we turned off all the panels and made sure that we didn't have any hot leads going to any of the wires that we were interacting with. As we go forward here, I'm going to be discussing our power usage and storage in watts and watt hours. You get watts by multiplying amps times volts. So when we speak in the context of watts, both amps and volts are accounted for. A lot of people speak of their power usage and storage in amps and amp hours, and I think that can be super confusing because voltage is often variable. If you're pulling power directly from, say, a car battery, it's at 12 volts, so 1 amp pulls 12 watts. Whereas if you're pulling it from an inverter, that same 1 amp in AC would be 120 volts. So that's 120 watts. So it's like 10x the power, although in both situations, you're just pulling that single amp. So that can get really confusing and sometimes dangerous. Making voltage assumptions is particularly troublesome in our situation because we're actually using a 48 volt system. We're doing this for a number of reasons, but to use a bigger inverter, you often have to have a 48 volt system nowadays. And 48 volt kits are quickly kind of becoming the norm in the off-grid permanent setup space. There's a couple positives and downsides. One of the downsides though is if we were going to expand our system at all, we couldn't just buy an extra battery or two. We would have to buy another 4-pack, but we'll get into the complexities of all that here in a little bit. One of the main benefits you get from using a 48 volt kit is you can use a lot smaller wire, which is a lot cheaper because you're using less copper.
What are you doing?
I'm making sure these batteries are balanced so that we can hook them together. Can't.
Gotta make it comfy.
So we're gonna work on this project, so I figured I might as well make it awesome. But yeah, so before I hook all of them together, I just want to make sure they're all the same voltage. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have each of these batteries are 12 volts. So if we wire this 4-pack in series, come on buddy, lay down. If we wire this 4-pack in series and that 4-pack in series, that means that the voltage is cumulative between them. So we'll have two 48 volt packs effectively because our system is a 48 volt system. Before I need to wire all of these batteries together to get them in series. And before I do that, I gotta make sure they're the same voltage. Sorry I said the same thing 6 times, but I'm figuring all this out as I go, so bear with me.
If your inverter's on the bigger side, say 5 kilowatts or more, 48 volt starts to make a lot more sense and oftentimes is the only thing available. One of the downsides to 48 volt inverters though is because they're so much bigger, like ours is a 9 kilowatt inverter, their parasitic load is higher. So just the inverter sitting passively and turning the DC into AC pulls a heavy load. We tested it later in the video and it's actually pulling 80 watts, where to compare that to our old portable system, that only pulled 6 watts parasitically. So it's a big difference, but since we have so much more power available, we won't even notice the parasitic load. So we're thinking this is where the solar arc will come out. By mounting it outside, we keep all the heat from it outside and the noise from the inverters and fan and everything outside. So when we're filming and stuff, you don't hear it buzzing in the background like you do the generator right now. Yeah, if we just punch it out right here, then the cords will be as short as possible because they're fairly expensive, and the shorter the run, the thinner the cord we need. I'm just gonna drill a hole in the wall and hope it comes out in a decent spot. Okay, I'm talking to Travis on the phone, so if it sounds like I'm talking to myself, that's who I'm talking to. What we were just talking about, to get to the terminals, you have to pull this Phillips head off, and the Phillips head is on the bottom side here. If they were like set up like this, how I have them, then I would have to like wire all of the negative terminals first to get the cover back on. So that wouldn't really work. So we're kicking around ideas, and what we're gonna try now, because I just realized they actually have phalanges so they can sit on their back pretty solid. So I'm gonna see if I can fit 2 in this compartment. Even still, it's gonna be kind of a pain in the butt to get to. Yeah, it'll work. They fit. Well, that makes things a little bit easier now. Because here's what I was planning on doing. So if they were like on their sides, like I had them in there, then getting to all of these negative terminals would be a huge pain, because I got to cut these leads short enough to not waste a bunch of wire. And then I wouldn't be able to like flip this guy up to access the Phillips head on the bottom. If I have them like this, I can pull these covers and get to them a lot easier. We can store these batteries in any physical orientation since they're lithium iron phosphate, a stable chemistry that does not off-gas. Some people were asking about that in other videos. The battery management system prevents them from overcharging at low temperatures, and that's one of the only things that can get risky about these is if you didn't have a good BMS and you tried to charge them while they were super cold, then you could have heat issues. We chose to store them inside because that way we have a relatively stable temperature, so we have safe charging and discharging all the time. And then we opted to store our inverter outside because when the panels are plugged into it and generating power, or if the inverter's running and generating a lot of power, the fans spin to disperse the heat that comes off of that, and the fans are loud and the heat would not be a good thing in our house in the summer. So thankfully the SolarArc is outdoor rated, so it's plenty safe to put it outside. Hello, welcome to today. We are installing solar and Travis is here. Say hi, Travis. Hi, hello. Travis. So he's gonna be helping me out. He also has an off-grid place and is an electrical geek, so hopefully we can get this all figured out. They're not one. And then I guess I could just start flipping these, huh?
Yeah. Did you draw it how you wanted it? Like, they're all arranged the same way, right? Reds, positives, and back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I should probably give us enough space to get all the covers off.
I would take all those covers off now. Yeah.
You think?
You got a screwdriver?
Yeah. Terrible. Why do you think they put one terminal on top and one on bottom?
I don't know.
Is it a safety thing?
I wouldn't think so.
What sucks about making YouTube videos, you can't have music on.
Yeah.
You know? What's your point?
So we need 5 more at 18, right?
I believe so. Yeah, because we have one, right?
Yep.
That's where you're getting at. I tried to design our whole system for as short of runs as possible because the copper wire really adds up cost-wise. And getting all the math for sizing and amperage for all the different wires and the componentry was pretty confusing. Just doing all that research probably took me 2 weeks, but I think I nailed it for the most part. Yeah, let's do that. Heat shrink's gonna take forever.
It's all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I think each wrap of this insulates for something like, I don't know, hundreds of volts or something. And each additional wrap is that much more insulation. Just kind of provides a little like strain relief, you know,
right.
It stiffens that connection. Helps.
So it's not like leaning on the copper. And
right.
Yeah, they're solid. This is actually kind of cool. Like there's less enjoyable things to do for sure.
Two 12-volt batteries, connected positive, negative in series. Now put my lead, one lead there and one lead over there. And what does it read? It should read like 24 volts.
Yeah, 26.5.
Yep. So we're gonna do that with these, then we'll have 36, then we'll have 48. Same up here, and then we'll parallel them.
Okay, so for the bus bars, I'm thinking here's black and black. Those will come together. Bus bar right there. And then red and red from the top corners of those two batteries come together to a bus bar right there. Two aughts come off of that, black and red, and then punch through the wall right above the batteries. So if I got like a 2x4 and just mounted it right above the batteries, the bus bar could just go straight into that, right?
Yep, that'll work.
Will those slide under it though? Okay, we got all these wired up. They're joined up. So this up front is effectively one battery bank at 48 volt since it's wired in series, and then this, the same, is effectively another battery wired up at 48 volts, and then they connect at these bus bars to join them together, so then out of the bus bar we'll punch through the wall and then send that into our inverter. There are lots of benefits to lithium iron phosphate batteries. They have a lot more charge cycles, a better depth of discharge, and they don't tend to heat up as much. The only real downside to lithium iron phosphate is the energy density isn't quite as good as like a lithium ion, but in our case, since it's in our house, we have plenty of space, whereas like in your cell phone, that's why they use lithium ion batteries, because they can be a lot smaller. But the lithium ion chemistry is actually a little bit more dangerous than the lithium iron that we're using in our batteries.
You know exactly how tall your or how wide your wall is?
No, it's pretty variable.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think I bought all the hardware, like big washers and nuts, to run it all the way through. I have enough for 3 pieces of all thread going all the way through to where we could bolt it on and washer it on either side.
That's what I was kind of envisioning. I like it. And so we'll go out there and drill.
There's a rattlesnake by the office.
Oh boy, get the camera. Got more jewelry.
Shut up,
material.
Travis. How'd you notice it? Where is it?
I got scared. He's right by that plant right there.
Oh, no shit. Yikes. Where was he? He's right there. Did he buzz?
No.
We should probably put gravel up under this guy. Right. Okay, Dad, do you want to go release him?
No. That's a hard no.
Have you heard that some rattlesnakes are like seeing they're stopping rattling because of some? Is that true?
I don't know. Well, because everybody kills all the ones that buzz.
Yeah.
So then they're like selectively breeding them to be quiet, which is not what you want.
No.
Okay.
This humongous snapping turtle, he's probably about this big around. My brother and I caught him, and there's just these 2 guys fishing in the lake, and their car was, all windows open stuff. So we just, as a joke, put it in their back seat.
Oh my God.
And they, like an hour or 2 later, they come back from fishing, and they start driving down the street, and all of a sudden you hear the brake, the screech of the tires, both doors fly open, they jump out like, how in the f that thing in here?
A climbing snapping perla.
Yeah.
Well, we're going on a group field trip because nobody wants to go release the snake. So we'll just go another week without power, I guess.
We volunteered, didn't we, Travis? We just couldn't film it. That's
Yeah.
We need some expertise.
Yeah, it wasn't that you were
I wasn't really
scared.
scared of the snake. It was...
You still in here, Travis?
We're walking back if not.
Yeah. Look out, Travis.
Some good camouflage.
Don't go that way. That's where the car is. Don't go. Gosh. Normally they don't zoom like this. It must be hot.
This guy right here.
Yeah, that'll work. Perfect. So do you want to try to take a measurement, or do you know where your stairs are coming down? Or do you want to
just do a measurement from here?
I don't know exactly, but what I'm thinking, so there's the hole.
Is this a pilot that already goes through?
It goes all the way through.
Oh yeah, you
okay.
could take a measurement off that.
Yeah, so then I was thinking if we mount it like right here, like mount it fairly high so that like I got to do this number to get to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Then that would punch out like underneath the stairs. That would be a pretty good spot,
Those way you're gonna work.
And then once we know relatively, as long as we know it's going to come out under the stairs, the bolts, then it's kind of whatever. Yeah. Good enough, mister.
You want to put a little level on this, or?
Oh, I guess. Well, no, you're right. No, that definitely feels like rebar.
Really?
That? Yeah. This freaking micro vise. When it was in the box, I thought it was quite a bit bigger.
Some research.
guess it just
Yeah.
fits perfectly on that corner.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
and it's solid, dude.
Oh, I see. They've got holes below where you can drill.
Right.
Awesome.
And then yeah, the AC cable could come out and punch in like right here.
Oh, yeah, look, your batteries is even on the left
Let's
side.
go, dude. We planned it. We planned that.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's plenty clean, and then we can suck them down a little bit and whack this. Cool. Okay. Now we just gotta punch the battery cables through the wall. Oh, here we go. I got it. Oh no. They're coming out.
How much was that?
Like $8.
Okay, yeah, I can't really complain with $8.
It works good.
Yeah.
I think it'll go.
Oh yeah, nice. I didn't know that hole was that much bigger.
Excellent. Got it? Cool. So this pre-charge resistor, we should only need to limit the amperage it's going, or the amperage it's going to the capacitors in the solar controller.
Yeah, the whole inverter has capacitors in it, and you got to just choke down that current on the initial inrush, so this thing chokes it down.
What?
I was just debating. I almost said most batteries have
it built in.
that you wouldn't have to be worrying
Right.
about this.
So
I'd stop myself.
But most 48 volt batteries have a pre-charge
Essentially all of
resistor
them, yeah.
built into them.
Yeah.
But since we're using 12 volt batteries, they don't have that. So
And it's
that's
not
why we
enough
gotta
something
use it.
necessarily with voltage. It's if you're using a big battery, you're going to be using a big inverter that has big capacitors, so you need a big pre-charge
Pre-charge resistor, right. So since Battleborn doesn't have them built into the batteries, they have it outside.
Yeah.
So we're using that.
We'll know if this thing's doing something after the fact, because if you put a resistor in series in a circuit, you're going to have voltage drop across it.
Right.
So I'm really curious once this is all going. Checking polarity real quick, just to make sure. It's pretty hard to mess up when you keep your colors right with 52 volts or whatever. 53.1.
Cool.
Can you flip it on just to...
Yeah. Cool. Okay, ready, team?
18.
I'm gonna
Hopefully you
panic.
just hear a beep and the screen come up.
Nothing happened. Are we panicking? Do I gotta push the button?
It's doing something.
Yeah, I heard it click.
Hey, it's on. Oh my god, it's happening.
Not that we had any doubt.
No, we were so
We were so
confident.
positive.
We knew exactly what was gonna happen.
Doesn't like something.
It says 0% on the batteries. Oh, maybe we gotta, but how do we configure it without having it plugged in?
Because it doesn't have communication with the battery, so it doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, I think it's just a dead battery alarm.
Okay. Okay, so now we gotta configure it. Should I flip it off so it quits beeping?
Yeah, that's just annoying.
Do you want to cut a piece of,
Yeah.
just a piece of cardboard and put a piece of duct tape over it?
for a,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry I didn't film it, but we got the breaker box mounted. It's pretty trivial. Right? Super easy. It didn't take us more
Very
time than
easy.
it should have.
No.
Does that work?
It's better than nothing.
Stiff dog in it.
All right, let's see what we got first outlet. 122.
Nice.
Cool.
Like, how do you want it like that?
Sure. I trust your judgment. You're more OCD than I am, so if you think it looks good, I definitely will. I like how these are staggered, you know? Makes them look clean.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we will eventually put conduit on all this, but we are not doing that right this moment because we want to make sure that everything works first.
Linnea is so nice and came over to cook me dinner just for fun, a girls' date, except the guys are still here, but it's still a girls' date. And you're cooking what?
Homemade meatballs with like a tomato basil sauce, homemade. So nutritious.
When Linnea and Chris were camped here back in November, the first time that we met, one of her meals that she made us was meatballs. And it was so good. And I haven't had any since. I've never had any so good, so I asked her if she could come over and make some. Our kitchen is a little bit bigger than yours.
Yeah, this is like amazing.
So you can come over and cook anytime.
I want to eat this. This was one of my favorite ones.
Wow. Watch her drop it. Linnea, that is so cool. This is one of the black ones.
Yes. Well, I wanted to give you one from the creek.
clay
Yeah.
that I harvested.
Yes, you're mud.
I did it. I knew it would be
Wow.
that good. Some parsley.
No, it's just gonna be valid that.
Cute. Wow, this is so cool.
I love that one so much, and it got a ton of this color on it, and I have no idea why. This is the only one with that, like really iron. Breathing really hard.
Wow, what a nice bundle. That is so cute.
So cute. Actually, the first thing. Okay, so maybe I'll brown these in there, and then that'll be great. Yeah.
What time is it? I don't know if the clock is right on this thing. I don't think it's...
Unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think
It
is.
says it's 1634, so those were a long time ago.
So these alarms, so we don't have any alarms right now. Which is
Nice.
good. And now it doesn't say off. So we might
Right,
have
and now it's
AC.
reading the voltage from the batteries too, rather than just saying 0.
And that's because I just changed it to not tell it doesn't have any communication.
Oh, okay.
122 on that leg and 122 on that leg.
Cool.
And it's happy. Look, it shows power's flowing out of the batteries. So here's a good little test to see your idle standby, just to see what the inverter's pulling, just sitting there with AC on, not doing any work. It's going to use some power.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to know that it's pulling 1.5 amps, 52.9 volts. So
like 80 watts.
1.5 times 52.9.
Yeah, the scaffolding's awesome.
Yeah, I miss it. Okay, Travis, safety first.
Do we have everything?
I don't know.
I got cutters, strippers, tape that we probably don't even need.
It's so safe, dude.
You're having to lean over the death void to get up here. Got a little false bottom right there. I'm just joking, it's not. It's one ugly thumbnail that I just broke that's going to be front and center on my 75-inch.
Forever in.
And you said don't plug this together yet?
Yeah, because then there's positive and negative, and they're going to our cable that's not stripped back yet, and they could be touching.
I assume if it slips, that means it's tight
I
enough.
guess.
It doesn't trip me out when I climb down, but watching other people weirds me out. Okay, you ready?
All right, so we're coming on.
Nothing.
It might take a second.
Oh, there it goes.
It's going. How many?
Sweet.
Nice. It's only 0.2 kilowatts, so 200 watts, but it's like dark.
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock at night and
Yeah.
it's completely cloudy.
Yeah,
And we don't know the state of charge of the batteries.
right.
They might only be asking for a small amount.
Awesome.
You're charging.
Dude, that's amazing.
You're essentially hooked up right now.
Yeah,
Nice.
right.
You have an outlet. You have solar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come here, you. Thank you, dude. You're amazing. Thank you. You guys rock. Thank you for all your help. Okay, again, everyone, we are not professionals. We are just doing this for entertainment purposes. This is not actually how we'll wire up our house. Everything else will be done by a professional electrician and be the most above board. So just keep that in mind.
Start smashing duct seal into those holes.
We have ACV too, if you like that.
My brain is melted.
Look at these big ass
It
meatballs!
might be a little burnt on the bottom.
Big old
They were in
chunk
there
of
for a
nuts.
while.
She
I
made,
like them crispy.
she made the sauce all by herself.
Like out of tomatoes?
Yeah. No, we have only had 2 forks for like the last 6 months.
Where's that other pile of forks?
I was looking for them thinking they were gonna eat with us and I have no idea.
We've accidentally been leaving forks all over the house lately, some of us.
Honestly, I do the same thing, but I leave them like outside, and then I lose them forever. Are you relieved that it's done?
Our neighbor Karen, can you see me? All of me?
Go down. Yeah.
Our neighbor Karen got us hooked on this grass-fed ice cream from, yeah, it is from California. So I bought 5 flavors of it so that we can stop going to town and buying ice cream cones. We can just have really good ice cream here.
Are they still way frozen?
They're pretty frozen.
They're all cookie. Wow. Oh my god, look at that one.
I
Look
see
at which
you
one?
cracked into one of them.
I tried. I had to excavate this thing. It was
you
so
looked at that
froze.
one?
Is that all me? Did I do that?
Yeah. Yeah, this was so froze. Yesterday when I tried to eat it.
Am I allowed? Oh,
Are you just gonna eat straight out of there?
Should we not?
You can do whatever you want. Linnea, the chocolate one is not to share though.
What?
The chocolate one is not to share.
That's the first one she went.
You mean it's all mine?
No.
That was really good.
This is amazing. It's fun having all the different ones to
It
try.
is. It's like a beer flight, but better.
I ate so much ice cream the other day that I was like really uncomfortable. I had to go to bed.
I love doing that. Getting stick on ice cream? What?
I feel like you read all of them each time.
Not that one though.
You don't like which one? Have you not tried it? I think you're gonna really like it.
Okay. Honey and cornbread cookies.
But
It's
very
good.
salty.
You don't. What do you mean? What don't you like about it? I'm a little offended. I think that's my favorite one.
It just tastes like a really sweet vanilla. And I think that's boring.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
I love milk with vanilla.
Sorry, I'm getting smoked out. But our system specs are, we have 26 kilowatt hours of battery storage, which is 20 kilowatt hours more than what we had before. We have 3 kilowatts of panels, which is over three times what we had before. And our inverter can push up to 9 kilowatts of power, which is 3 times what we had before. So I think all these specs will be wonderful for our future expansion and allow us for like all the different appliances and stuff going into the future that we may want to use. Also, our inverter is capable of split phase 240 volt, so that's 2 legs of 120, and that'll be good for like a clothes dryer or if we want an electric water heater or whatever. Speaking of, we're still debating about all the different appliances that we want to use. The heat pump technology is fascinating to me, but it has its downsides too, since it like changes the ambient temperature, mostly cooling it down. And like for a heat pump water heater, you need a lot more space because you got to have the tank too. And then since we don't use as much hot water, then the tank would have to stay warm all the time, which is a parasitic load. I'm thinking we'll go with a propane inline water heater because with the electric ones, they can only do so much of a temperature difference. So say if the water's coming in at 50 degrees from our well or something, I don't know exactly what it is, but if it's coming in at 50 degrees from our well, some of the electric water heaters can only get it up to like 110, which once that went through our pipes and was coming out of the shower, it wouldn't feel super hot. Whereas the propane inline water heaters work pretty well. And we wouldn't go through a ton of propane because again, we don't use a ton of hot water. So I'm kind of leaning toward that, and that might be one of the next things I do. Something else we're debating on is whether we're gonna have a propane cooktop or induction. And I kind of go back and forth on it, and Elsa and I are still kind of debating it. But if you guys want to argue about that, you can do it in the comments, and we'll definitely read through and take your experience from it. Thank you again to Battleborn and Rich Solar for providing us with this kit. We couldn't be more grateful for you guys, and it's working out really well for us. It's already taken a big burden off my shoulders having to run the generator and everything frequently, and I no longer really have to worry about our power usage, which is wonderful. We look forward to getting the rest of the house wired up and all of our appliances and stuff installed. This was like a giant piece of the puzzle that we had to get dialed in so that we could decide on all of our future appliances and everything to decide whether we're gonna go with propane or electric for different things. So now that we have this in, it unlocks a lot of things for us. So we'll have a lot more building projects coming up here soon. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.